I want to introduce you to Mike, the problem car salesman. Everyone agrees that Mike has great talent and potential, but he's just not performing. He comes in late, doesn't follow the sales process, and he's bad at following up with people. And as you can guess, he doesn't sell many cars. But worst of all, he doesn't seem to care. As Mike's manager, you're thinking, Mike has a real problem. But does he really? Not if you ask him. He'll tell you that he gets to sleep in. He's happy with his level of income, and he's able to avoid doing the hard things at work. He's getting everything he wants out of his job, so no, Mike does not have a problem. But somebody has a problem, don't they? Sure, but it isn't Mike. It's you, the manager, and your general manager who are unhappy. You have the problem because Mike's poor performance is keeping you from reaching your sales goals and from earning your bonuses. And that is a real problem for you. So let's use Mike as an example to help us better understand that there is a difference between having unacceptable or problem behavior and actually having the problem itself. You might think that Mike has the problem, but remember, he's just fine with his low performance and low income, so obviously he doesn't, at least not yet. As long as the payoffs of his behavior are greater for him than any negative consequences, he really has no incentive to change. Why should he? But his poor work performance is definitely causing a problem for you because you're counting on him to perform. It's costing you in results, lost income and bonuses, and maybe even your chance of future promotion. But here's the good news. Once you realize that his behavior is actually your problem and not his, you can take steps to see that it gets solved. Right now, you're suffering the results of his bad behavior. The key is that either Mike changes his problem behavior or that you solve the problem, because remember, it's your problem and not his. Of course, it's always best when people are self-motivated to perform and to behave properly, and that's usually the case, but not always. Let's assume that you've talked to Mike about his poor performance. You've even come down pretty hard on him, but for all your talk and action, he's either unwilling or unable to make the change. So what do you do now? Obviously, at this point, any penalties that he suffers from continuing his behavior haven't been significant enough to make him want to stop. We've all seen that. Some people simply find it less painful to get yelled at than to go to all the trouble of changing how they behave. So realize that if he won't make the changes, you are the one that has to see that the problem gets solved. And here's how you do that. First, make sure you've helped him to see the negative impact of his actions on you and on others. Maybe he just didn't realize how his behaviors were hurting others. Secondly, encourage him to change his behavior. Hopefully, he'll be willing to make the necessary changes once he sees the problems that he is causing. If that doesn't work, or if Mike either can't or won't change his behavior, then it becomes your responsibility to solve the problem. And you do that by making your problem his problem. That could mean taking away privileges, changing assignments, or even terminating his employment. Because remember, if another person's behavior is causing a problem for you, you need to see that it gets corrected one way or the other. And fortunately, when faced with a clear choice, most people will prefer to correct their behavior rather than suffer the consequences of not doing so. So now that you're armed with a better understanding of the principle of problem behavior versus problem ownership, you will know what to do when another person's behavior is causing problems for you or for the company. If you'd like more insight and ideas on how to effectively give corrective feedback, see the video entitled The Feedback Model. It will give you some specific examples of how to do that.